Thank you for thank you for joining. And today we will be starting our course on Bhagavad Gita called as Gita in a nutshell. So in the modern times where everything is very fast paced, we don't have so much time for doing multiple things. And we have all come here to achieve some goal in life, isn't it? And therefore, the study of the Bhagavad Gita or to really live the lifestyle as given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita becomes a challenge. So in the modern times, with the fast-paced world, Gita in a nutshell is like a crash course. So if you have prepared IIT exams before, sometimes they have some preparation course, a crash course. That means 3 years preparation they'll give you in 2 months, isn't it? So something like that. So we want to present the essence of the Bhagavad Gita in just 4 to 5 sessions, where you understand the essence, the main important part of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So just a minute, let me share the screen. So as we begin, I want to know how many of you have studied the Gita before? Does anyone here have experience of the of studying Bhagavad Gita before?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Okay, Aniket has studied,
Yes,
Gaurav,
yes.
he studied. Okay. Is it something here and there or you have studied completely? Okay, Kuntal has also studied. Okay, some of you have studied, some of us haven't studied. Okay, someone is saying they have not studied. Okay. Oh, Kuntal has not studied here and there. Yes, so we all have some experience of Gita here and there. Thank you. So, Bhagavad Gita is such a popular text. It was spoken by Krishna to his pure devotee Arjuna. How many years ago? 5,000 years ago, isn't it? So, 5,000 years ago means people usually consider any text which is so old as outdated. But it is not the case with the Bhagavad Gita. For example, if you want to study, say, artificial intelligence, you're not going to refer to a textbook which is 15-year-old. You want the latest textbook, up to date, revised edition, isn't it? That book which has been referred to by multiple authors. Now, here the Bhagavad Gita, though it is so old, 5,000 years old, it doesn't matter because when Krishna is speaking in the Bhagavad Gita, he is giving the principles of life. Prince Krishna is giving Arjuna how to live a life in such a way that you can really be successful. And today, unfortunately, our definition of success has become distorted because today success means to have wealth, to have money, to have women, to have property, asset, or to have post, position, status in society. Actually, success is much more than this. Krishna tells Arjuna. And therefore, by studying the Gita in a nutshell, by going through this course, we are going to understand how to be truly successful. And real success means to be happy. And you will find that's what we are looking for through all the activities that we're doing. We're just looking for one component called as happiness. Now, Arjuna, just to give you a context, Arjuna in Mahabharata, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. Pandavas were being tormented by the Kauravas by the manipulation and tricks, cheap tricks. They were sometimes Bhima was poisoned to be killed, or they were tricked in the dice game to be sent to the forest. And that forest was not like the forest of today. Forest in Dwapar Yuga was really a forest with wild animals. So the whole point of 12, 13-year exile was that if they're in 12, 13 years in forest, some animal would eat them up. That is the whole point. So they were being cheated, they were being tricked. And as we see in Mahabharata, as we hear from Mahabharata, now Pandavas, after the exile, they came back and they said, now we want our part of the deal. If we come back, then you give us our kingdom back. But then Duryodhana was so attached to the kingdom which did not belong to him that he did not share the kingdom with Pandavas. Pandavas said, just give us one small land for just five Pandavas, five pieces of land. You keep the kingdom. But because we are Kshatriyas, we have to rule over the land. That means one land for Yudhishthir, small one, like a village. One village for Bhima, one village for Arjuna, one for Nakul, one for Sahadev. That's all we're asking for. You be the overall king. Duryodhana said no, because he was envious of Pandava's success. And naturally, Krishna had gone to Duryodhana for this peace proposal, and Duryodhana rejected, and he's made a statement saying that I cannot even give that much amount of land on which the tip of needle will rest. He was so envious of the Pandavas. Now, because of which, what happened? The war had to take place, isn't it? And Arjuna knew very well, what does a war mean? He's a warrior. And he knew whom he's fighting against, the Kauravas. He knew Kauravas means Bhishma, Dronacharya, his own cousins, relatives. But when he went onto the battlefield and he told Krishna, Ratam Stape Mechita, my dear Krishna, my dear chariot driver, please take my Ratham to the middle of the battlefield, and now let me see who all have assembled here with a fighting spirit. And as he saw his own family members on the other side of the battlefield, something happened in his heart that he became weak, and immediately he lost his determination to fight. And this is why Bhagavad Gita is very relevant, because through the character of Arjuna, we are being showcased. We too in life, in face of struggles, in face of attachments, we fall weak. We become weak. And that's when our real conquest to get happiness is defeated. So then Arjuna presents arguments after arguments, but finally he tells Krishna, I'm confused. You please tell me what should I do? And that's the only time when Krishna starts speaking. This is about in 2.7. So in first chapter only Arjuna speaks his excuses. Why I cannot fight. And in the second chapter, Krishna starts speaking. Finally, Arjuna says, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. Now, what Krishna speaks is called as the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita means the song of God. So, basically, referring to what Krishna is speaking. Now, Krishna speaks the eternal truth. That means, in the fourth chapter beginning, Krishna tells Arjuna, the truth which I'm speaking to you now is not that I made it up now. These are principles of life. They have been existing eternally. But Sakaleneha Mahata Yogo Nashtaparantapa. In the passage of time, the knowledge was lost. And therefore, I'm giving you this Bhagavad Gita, which was anyway spoken to by me to the sun god. How many years ago? Millions of years ago. I'm just re-speaking it again to you. So in that Bhagavad Gita, it is so profound that people across the globe, poets, philosophers, revolutionaries, whoever it might be, the scientists, they all have studied the Bhagavad Gita. And it so happened once Einstein, he called for his assistant. Someone was working with him. He called and his name was Mr. Ghosh. He said, Mr. Ghosh, today we will not do anything related to physics. Today we are actually going to study the Bhagavad Gita. And then Mr. Ghosh said, Bhagavad Gita? He said, Einstein said, yes. See, you're from India. I have a doubt in the 9th chapter, 4th, 5th verse. Can you explain to me what it is? I think it has something to do with quantum mechanics. Mr. Ghosh said, though I'm from India, I've never studied the Bhagavad Gita. And Einstein said, how is it possible? You're from India. You should have studied the Bhagavad Gita. And I was thinking that's our situation also, isn't it? So the people who have achieved something in life, who have grown deep in life, they have all come across the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, in this course, we want to discuss about the essential knowledge, wisdom that Krishna speaks to Arjuna, which becomes the solution to all problems of life. So in the Gita in a nutshell, we are going to discuss four things, four sutras. So Gita in a nutshell means, you're comprising the entire Gita knowledge into a small crash course type of a version. And therefore, we cover four sutras. If my handwriting becomes illegible, please let me know. I'm not used to writing nowadays. I type more. See, the first sutra, if someone can repeat after me, um, the body is not all in all. Can you repeat?
The body is not all in all.
Soul exists.
Soul
Soul.
exists.
Yes. Second sutra is this lifetime is not all in all.
This lifetime is not all in all.
Many more lifetimes exist.
Many more
Many more
lifetimes.
lifetimes exist.
Very good. Third one is this material world is not all in all.
This
This
material
material
world,
world is not all in all.
Spiritual world exists.
spiritual
Spiritual
world,
world exists.
Spiritual world is
And last one is we are not all in all.
We are not
we
all
are
in all.
not all in all.
God exists.
God
God
exists.
Yeah, very good. So these are the four sutras which we'll be discussing in different classes. Today we'll focus on the first one. Okay. First one is this body is not all in all. Spirit soul exists. Second one is this life is not all in all. Many more lifetimes exist. Then this material world is not all in all. Spiritual world exists. And last is we are not all in all. God exists. So these are fundamental truths. And today we'll be seeing the first one. This body is not all in all. Spirit soul exists. So let me just stop the screen share. Yeah. Okay. Once upon a time, there was in a park, there were two ladies, they had gained a lot of weight. So they were like very bloated up and fat, and they did not look like the way they looked. So they were running in a park, making circles, thinking, when will we lose weight? So that time, they just happened to hear actually a sermon like this class was happening in the park, and a sannyasi was speaking there on the same topic. This body is not all in all. The spirit soul exists. He was discussing that. And as they made the round, these few words of the sannyasi fell on their ears. You are not this body, they heard. Immediately they became enlightened, and they felt so relieved, because they felt from childhood that we are this body. I have to, worry about this body. I have to worry about how I look in the society, how I'm shaped, how my body is shaped, what people talk about my body. When they heard these magical words, you're not this body, immediately they felt a sigh of relief. And they went to the sannyasi and they said, my dear sir, your lecture was perfect. We could relate to it very much. The sannyasi said, but I did not see you guys in the class. They said, yes, we were not in the class, but we just happened to hear this one statement that you're not this body. And that made our day, isn't it? So in the path of Krishna consciousness or spiritual life, what Krishna speaks, he speaks about different yoga systems. But to understanding spiritual knowledge, the fundamental block of spiritual science is to understand that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. And to understand this, in the Shastra also there are many examples given. For example, in the Shastra it is said, just take an example of a car. Say you have a car and you're on a busy Manhattan road, Times Square, you're in Times Square, and you're driving a Mercedes, and in front of you there's a taxi, yellow taxi, and the red signal turns green. So as the red signal turns green, the taxi person is not moving ahead. So you stick your head out of the window and say, "Hey, taxi, go ahead," isn't it? Then the taxi person comes out and he says, "Hey, I'm not taxi. I'm the person driving the taxi. Taxi is my car," isn't it? Similarly, he'll tell you, "You are not Mercedes. You are the person driving the Mercedes. Mercedes is your car." Have you been to this arcade section of a mall? In arcade section of a mall, they have these simulators. You have a bike simulator, a helicopter simulator, or a car simulator. In front of you, there's a big screen where you actually can race. You put a coin or something or a ticket and you can race for some time. Now, in the simulator, they try to make the experience more tangible. So what happens when, say, you're driving a bike, your bike also moves, the simulator moves. So you feel that you're actually part of the game. Actually, there is no race going on. It's only on the screen. It's in imagination. But because they give you the experience, as you move, you feel, "Oh, I defeated that person. Oh, I beat that guy, or he beat me." Actually, there's no one beating anyone. You able to understand? So the problem here is that the person is identifying himself with the bike. He thinks, "I'm the bike now." But he fails to understand that I'm actually not the bike. I'm the person riding the bike. Similarly, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita tells Arjuna, "Arjuna, you are not this body. You are the spirit soul inside the body. You are the minute controller." And this body is like the person controlling the vehicle. This is just a vehicle to fulfill the desires of the stored in the mind of the soul. So, for example, say we all can agree that we give undue importance to our body. Anything connected to body holds a lot of importance, isn't it? Be it maybe the hair on our head, it holds importance. Nails on our fingers holds importance. It holds so much importance, people purchase costly nail polish to polish their nails, isn't it? But imagine that nail falls in your food. You will discard the plate of food. What does that mean? That means that nail, once disconnected from body, is worthless. But when the nail was connected to the body, you would nail polish it, purchasing a costly nail polish. Similarly, when the hair is on the head, people purchase all kinds of shampoos and gels and stylers and so many things. But as soon as the hair falls out, is disconnected from the body, the hair is worthless. Is that understandable? Isn't it? The hair becomes worthless because it is no more connected to the body. So, why do we value this body so much? That's what we have to think about. We give undue importance to the body and anything that is connected to the body. Just like if I get you a bag of sweets, say from some very popular restaurant, quality sweets. If I get you a bag of quality sweets, will you throw the bag? No. You will first distribute the sweets. Once the sweets are distributed, you will throw the bag. So can you tell me what gave value to this bag?
The sweets.
The sweets. Isn't it? The sweets give value to the bag. But without the sweets, the bag is worthless. It goes to the trash. Similarly, now in University of Illinois, there was a professor, Dr. Harry Monson. He did some analysis on the human body. He collected all these chemicals like phosphorus, sulfur, calcium, and many of the components that make up the human body. So when he collected these components, these chemicals, he said these bunch of chemicals that make up a 60-pound person, is no more than, or for our relevance, you can say these include more chemicals in quantity that make up a, say, about 150 or 200 pound person is no more than $5 to $10. That's what he said. He is saying basically the ingredients that make up this body, cost price is not more than $5 to $10. So therefore, my question is, say you are going with a new car like Tesla. You just bought a recent Tesla, and as you're driving the Tesla, you didn't see in excitement, you hit your friend. So now your friend is injured and needs hospital and needs to go to hospital, and your car is, in that excitement, you hit him and you hit a tree. So that's also in a very serious condition. Immediately you have to take it to the garage. So my question to you is, which one would you choose of the two?
The friend for sure.
The friend for sure. But according to Harry Monson, the friend's body is only $10. And Tesla car maybe what, $100,000? The good one, the costly one. So 100,000 versus 10,000, 10. Isn't it? Why your friend? It should be the car, right? To the garage. Yes. Any answer?
Because the body has a soul, the car does.
Because the body is?
Body has a soul, but the car doesn't.
The body has a soul, but the car doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that means there's something in the body that makes the body valuable. Isn't it? Otherwise, body is not valuable. If you just take the body apart, body is a cheap car. But what is in the car, in the body, that is making it valuable? And that is like Rahul said, yes, there is spirit soul. And that spirit soul, Krishna says, is us. We are not this body, we are actually the spirit soul. Just like you have Transformers. You have seen Transformers? Actually, not Transformers. There are many, when I was small, in Cartoon Network, there used to be a cartoon called as Megas XLR. I don't know if anyone has watched it. But in that, there are people sitting in a car, but that car can turn into a robot, huge robot. But actually, the robot is not alive. It's the people inside the robot, they're controlling the robot. Similarly, our body is like that. We are actually the soul, and the body becomes the vehicle. So, in this way, we understand, along with the, though we have this body, Krishna is first removing first illusion of Arjuna, that is, you are not this body, you are spirit soul. So then one might ask, how do you know if something contains a spirit soul or not? Does phone have a spirit soul? Does laptop have a spirit soul? Does the iPad have a spirit soul? How do we know what contains a spirit soul? Anyone knows? How do you recognize? Where is this? Okay. Shivram is asking, where is the soul? We'll come to that gradually. First, we'll establish that there is a soul. We want to now establish, because we are all from the scientific community. Today, people go by evidence, facts, proofs. In maths, we say, hence proved. Without that hence proved, we cannot believe anything. So therefore, we want to first establish the existence of soul. So now Rahul said, what adds value to the body is the spirit soul. But who has seen spirit soul? Anyone here has seen spirit soul? I have not seen spirit soul, how it looks. So this becomes a belief. So now what we will do is, let's analyze this to understand the presence of spirit soul. Is it really there? Now, the question is, how do we understand the presence of spirit soul? Okay, so let's put the question. What is the difference between living and non-living? The 6th grade science. The 6 symptoms of living entities that shows that they're actually living. 6 changes happens. Yes?
Someone who can breathe, someone who can feel, someone who can see.
Okay, someone who can breathe. It is said that breathing is also done by, I'll just share the screen. Yeah. So breathing is also done by, machines which take in air and give out air. That is also in a way breathing.
Growth, reproduction,
Okay, very good.
response.
Growth, reproduction. You're not doing ChatGPT, right?
No, no, no.
Okay. Yeah, very good. On point. That's why. Okay. Yeah, and someone said seeing. Seeing is also not necessarily the symptom of a living person, because they are machines. You can broaden the definition of what seeing means. Like, the plumes of a peacock, they also have something like eyes. They also seem to be seeing, isn't it? But yes, reproduction. So we'll write it down here. Okay, 6 symptoms. We got 2. One was growth. Other one was reproduction. Yeah, then anything else? You have 6. Yes, others. I have only few people answering all the questions. We have others who can also join in. What others? What are the other symptoms of presence of soul or of a living body? Because when the soul is in the body, we call it living. Yeah.
It's live.
Sorry, I cannot hear you.
It's live. The person can speak, tell, do work.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand what you're saying.
Like if someone is live, then they can
Alive.
feel. They can, yeah, alive.
No, so what is the symptom that one is alive? Okay,
They can
Tanmay,
speak. They can senses. They have senses.
sensors,
Senses.
senses.
Yeah.
See, even dead body has senses. Not only alive body. Okay, Tanmay is saying adaptation or evolution, so that we can attribute to growth. Thank you. And Shivram said growth as well as reproduction. This is also well taken. Thinking. Okay, one can think, but that you cannot see, right? If someone is there, I can say my phone is also thinking. God knows if it's thinking or not, right? How do we see? We're talking about the visible symptoms, so let's put visible here. Yes. Okay, energy. In this world, everything is running on energy, including my laptop. Okay, first one is birth. Any living body has to take birth. Okay, Shamika is saying emotions. The emotions is good. Emotions. We'll come to emotions later. It won't be categorized here, but we'll address emotions in next section. Birth, growth. Then we maintain ourselves. We eat daily, isn't it? We have to sleep properly. It's all maintenance. So this is also a symptom. Birth, growth, maintenance, reproduction. Then there's dwindling. Dwindling means getting old. where the senses are losing their power. And finally is death. So in the scriptures, it is mentioned any entity showing these 6 symptoms, they are considered to be alive. And alive means containing a soul within them. In some time, some centuries ago, Christianity said women don't have soul because they wanted to exploit women. They considered them to be objects. Later on, they said, no, women have soul, but dogs don't have soul. Animals don't have soul. So they can eat them. Isn't it? So, but we can see if they have soul or not based on these 6 symptoms. Is this clear? Okay, maybe you can also say yes. You can also keep yourself unmute if you are not in a disturbing and noisy environment, so you can quickly answer.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'll show you one. Okay, so now we will see there are 3 external symptoms and 3 internal symptoms of the presence of soul. This is what we are going to see now. And maybe before writing down, I will explain it to you what I mean. So what are the 3 external symptoms? External symptoms means when you look at a person, you can make out that there is a soul inside. External symptom. So the 3 external symptoms of presence of soul are, first one is perception. That means a living entity is able to perceive the sense object in its environment. A sense object means, for example, say there's a cheesecake in the environment. Say yesterday you had nice, tasty strawberry cheesecake. Now today your friend brings cheesecake again. Now as soon as you look at it, you look at the cheesecake and you perceive that there is a cheesecake present, isn't it? That's the first symptom. First you perceive that there is cheesecake. And then second, what happens? Now in our personality, there are Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. Jnanendriya means knowledge acquiring senses. Karmendriya means working senses. Jnanendriya means now there are 5 Jnanendriyas through which we gain knowledge. First one, can you name the 5? Who can name the 5? I think in Harrison we have discussed, so maybe someone not in Harrison group, they can answer. What are the 5 Jnanendriyas through which we gain knowledge? Yes. Jnana Indriya means through which you gain knowledge. 5 senses. You all have it. Now look at your own body. How do you gain knowledge?
The touch, taste.
Okay, touch. Yeah, touch is skin. Okay, taste, that is tongue. Good. So 2 you got.
Yeah. The
Nose.
ears.
Nose, through which you smell. Good. And someone.
Ears. To which we
Eyes.
hear.
And ears, through which you hear. Very good. You got all the 5. These are called Jnanendriyas. What happens Jnanendriyas? So whatever we see around us or whatever we feel in the environment, this is how we gain knowledge. Like a blind man, he might be blind, and say he's holding a knife. Because he has never seen a knife, he can just coolly swing it. People around him may get scared. But if he touches the blade and gets a small cut, he understands it's a sharp object. That means not just through seeing, you can also learn through touching, through hearing, through smelling, you can understand. So how does perception happen? As soon as something nice is being cooked in the kitchen, immediately your olfactory sense, the sense of smell is active. Someone is frying pakoras, isn't it? Immediately you become attracted. Then karmendriyas go into action. Okay, let me go there, isn't it? So the 3 symptoms of a living entity are, first one is you use jnanendriyas, you seek knowledge. So I was giving an example of a cheesecake. So first you see the cheesecake and you understand this cheesecake in the environment. So what does the eyes do? It immediately captures the image and takes it to the mind. And therefore, the second symptom is mental activity. Mental activity means as soon as sense object goes into the mind, now the mind processes. What should I do with it? How does it process? It sees the past. In past, the cheesecake was very good. I really like cheesecake. I always desired to have cheesecake. I came to America to have cheesecake. Whatever kind of desires. The mind is bringing forth and processing everything. And then that is called as mental activity. Or if someone doesn't like cheesecake, oh, it's too heavy. I don't like it. Too much sugar. I'm fasting from sugar. Isn't it? So all this mental activity happens. Accordingly, desires are created. And then comes the third step, that is purposeful action. So now either you can reject the cheesecake or you can put your hand and snatch the cheesecake. Isn't that is called purposeful action? So if in the mental activity, if the mind desired to eat the cheesecake, then your hand will go forward and pick it up. Anyone knows what are the 5 karmendriyas, acting senses? We discussed 5 jnanendriyas. There are also 5 karmendriyas through which you act. Yes? Mind is not karmendriya. These are all physical senses. Mind is more subtle.
Speech.
Speech, very good. Who said that?
Malhar. Me.
Okay, Malhar. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yeah, speech is one. Hearing is jnanendriya. Hands, very good. Hands, through which you can take the cheesecake. Hands are karmendriya.
Feet.
Feet, yeah, legs. Legs also karmendriya. 3 are done. 2 more. And then Shastra says other karmendriyas are genitals and rectum. These are the 5. Speech, hands, legs, genitals, and rectum. These are the 5 karmendriyas through which we act. So you have jnanendriyas, you have the mind where mental activity happens, and you have karmendriyas. So any personality that has a soul in it performs these 3 functions. And you can see that. You can see it in yourself also. Isn't it? You have these 3 functions. First one is perception, mental activity, purposeful action. See, we have, as we conclude the session after some time, we will have a short quiz for all of you to fill on just session 1. So kindly you can make your notes. I'm also making notes for you. I'll share on the screen. But please be attentive to this because I'm using some technical terms like Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, and all this. And we will see more technical terms as we go through. And this is very important to understand just because we are actually seeing how this world is working, isn't it? So we just went through 3 external symptoms of presence of soul. Now there are 3 internal symptoms of presence of soul. What are they? Now in this world, you will find everyone in this world, no one wants to die. Isn't it? Anyone here wants to die? See, no one wants to die. Anyone wants to live forever? We all want to live forever. Isn't it? Where is this nature coming from? Actually, we feel death is unnatural. No one is happy after dying, or even if someone dies. We want to continue living, isn't it? So, but you see, people say as sure as death. That means death is a natural phenomena. Whether you like it or not, one has to die. And therefore, it is unnatural, death. So this tendency to continue living is called as Sat, or the feature of being eternal. The body is not eternal. Krishna tells Arjuna, Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Arjuna, don't fear fighting in this war because even though your body may die, the body of Bhishma may die, but Bhishma will not die because the soul is eternal. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nityam shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Krishna is telling Arjuna the qualities of the soul. Na jayate na mriyate. It was never born. It never dies. It is always existing. न जायते न म्रियते वा कदाचिन nayam bhutva bhavitavana bhuyaha. It's not that one point in time it came, or today it will come into being, or tomorrow it will come into being. It has always been there, the spirit soul. And then he says it is aja, it is unborn, it is shashwata, it is always there, existing. And Purano is oldest. It is there since the beginning of creation, or even before that. And when the body is killed, the soul continues to live. It only changes the body, which we'll see in the next session. It only changes the body to body, that's all. But the person never dies. Like Arjun Anand, I mean, this Arjun's body can die. But I'm the person driving this body. The person doesn't die, but the body dies. Isn't it? Similar cars also, you will drive for 250,000, 300,000, 400, 450,000 miles. After that, you have to put it to junkyard. The body dies, but the person goes for another car. Isn't it? You purchase another car. So, therefore, the first one is Sat. And you can look at this principle all around. This is an observable scientific phenomena. You clap your hand, immediately the birds fly away. You pick up a stone, dogs run away. And some old man, deceased person is lying in the deathbed in the hospital, but all the tubes are going up his nose and in the veins, and he's giving he's living on oxygen mask. Why? Because he's trying to live. No one wants to die in this world, isn't it? People are struggling. Krishna says, Manishthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. The living entities in this world are struggling very hard for survival. You say, struggle for survival. Survival of the fittest. Why are we struggling? Because we are trying to upkeep this body which will die. But we think we are this body. We don't know we are the spirit soul which never dies. And therefore it is eternal. Soul is eternal. And therefore that nature where we feel, I don't want to die. People are fearful of death. It is all because the soul, death is very unnatural for the soul. And that is called as Sat. For example, in one of the prayers, Adi Shankaracharya, he says, Yavat pavano nivasati dehe, tavat prechati kushalam gehe, gatavati vayu deha paye, bharya bebhyati tasmin kaye, bharya bebhyati tasmin kaye, bhaja govindam, bhaja govindam, govindam bhaja mudhamate. He says in this, Yavata pavano nivasati dehe, tavati prichati kushalam gehe. That means till the time life is there in this body, people will come to you and say, how are you? Are you doing fine? I hope you're okay. Kushalam gehe, they'll ask about your well-being. But when the soul leaves this body, Gatavati Vayu, when the soul leaves this body, when the body drops dead, even the wife of that person doesn't want to go close to that body. You see? That means everyone is scared of death. And the body dies. So what was giving some animating force to the body was actually something deep inside called as a soul. For example, if I wear gloves and I'm moving, someone can say, oh, gloves are alive. Actually, gloves are not alive. It is dead. If I remove the hand, glove will fall down. When I put my hand, glove seems to be alive. Seems to be independently alive. But there's something inside that is making the gloves move. Similarly, there's something in this body that's making the body move. And that is the life force. That is the life force that is actually animating this body. Okay, Shivram is asking, but isn't that brain? Is actually not the brain. There's a case study which I can share with you. In that case study, they found in India once what happened, a person was was in the passenger seat of the auto rickshaw. And from the opposite side, a huge truck was coming with long poles, iron poles. For construction, they first put the poles and everything. I don't know what they call in the technical term, but the huge poles. What is it? Saria. English. Hindi Saria. Whatever. Iron, like reinforced steel bars or something like that. So the truck had to take a turn, and what happened is one of the poles, many poles fell down. One of the poles went right into the brain, through the brain, came out to the other end of this person sitting in the passenger seat of the auto rickshaw. And the whole rickshaw toppled. And the auto driver, he was not conscious. So this person, it is said that he got up, walked with the reinforced this bar in his head to the hospital, and they treated him. Can you imagine? And this is actual case study which I can share with you. It is there in one of the books. So you see that means even the brain is damaged, still he's alive. And he had enough intelligence to know which direction to take, where's the nearby hospital, everything. So like that, case studies are there. Even with brain dead, the person is alive. Brain damaged, the person is alive. So therefore, we see that there's some other force which is animating the body, isn't it? Sometimes you will find in a dead body also the brain is, it is not old. Not that, see, people also die young, you know that? In the young man's body, the brain is healthy. Why do they die? You able to understand, no? That means the what is powering the body is something else. Heart stops. So heart transplant, the person dies. Huh? How do you do heart transplant? Isn't it? So therefore, it's not the organs that power this body. Organs are dead, but the soul is alive. Like that. But of course, one can easily be confused to think that it is brain powering the body, it is heart powering the body, it is, I don't know what else they think, stomach powering the body if we eat nicely. But actually, all these organs are dead. They all have their particular functions, that's all. And with the further next discussion, you will understand how this is possible. So first, internal symptom what we are discussing is called as Sat. And the second feature is called as Chit, which means knowledge. And in this Chit or knowledge, it means that we are all knowledge seeking. We are joined here because we want knowledge, deeper knowledge than what material world can offer us. We go to college because we want knowledge. We want to travel across the globe because we're looking for knowledge. Isn't it? Or we want experience. You tell a person, what is the point? Don't be greedy for money. He says, no, I want to be greedy. Let me learn it by experience. Yeah, there are different ways of learning, but you will find that we are all knowledge seeking. Whatever other kind of knowledge. If not Bhagavad Gita, people look for, knowledge about which actor married which actress. Or which sports star is trending now. Isn't it? Some knowledge. A grade knowledge or E grade, F grade knowledge, low class knowledge, whatever, but they're knowledge seeking. Where is that nature to seek knowledge coming from? It's not that dull-headed people are not looking for knowledge. They also look for knowledge, but up to their capacity. But there's a tendency, and that is called as chit or knowledge seeking. And the third internal symptom of soul is called as ananda. That means we are all looking for happiness, and that is why we are putting endeavor. We are making sacrifices in life. We are tolerating struggles. We are having leap of faith. We are jumping from India to US because we feel US aane se kuch hoga mera. Isn't it? Just for the hope that I'll be happy one day. I will get that one thing which will give me happiness. If we are not looking for happiness, why the hell are we even working? There is no point to it at all. Some people will say, Prabhu, I'm working to make my parents proud. That means by making your parents proud, you'll be happy. Isn't it? Prabhu, I'm just working selflessly for the benefit of people. I want nothing in return. No, that means by acting selflessly, you'll be happy. You see? That means we only do things that will make us happy. But people commit suicide. That means they feel by committing suicide, I can put the full stop to distress in my life. By that, I'll be happy. In this way, everyone in this world is trying to constantly increase happiness, atantika sukha pravritti, and constantly reduce distress, called as atantika dukkha nivritti. Atantika sukha pravritti, expanding happiness, contracting distress, atantika dukkha nivritti. These are the two functions of the living entity. That's all we are doing, isn't it? Some of you have joined this class today because you feel by studying Bhagavad Gita, I'll be happy, which is true. So now your search for happiness has finally concluded in the right direction, isn't it? And this nature to be happy is coming from where? Is it coming from the brain? Is it coming from the heart? Is it coming from the stomach? From the leg? Where is this tendency to be happy coming from? Is it from the eyes? No. It's innate nature. Okay, so you're saying experience. Experience, who is experiencing?
Entire body.
Sorry?
The entire body, everything, all parts experience.
Body experiences?
The soul experiences.
Soul experiences. Okay, now we'll come to relevant discussion because you said body experiences. Now we will discuss. Let me just share the screen writing. Now this is a very important discussion. I'll show you. Sorry. Now you find here we discussed 3 external symptoms. Now forgive me for my handwriting. There's 3 external symptoms. One, can you please help me? What are the 3 external symptoms?
Perception,
Okay, good. Perception.
mental activity,
Okay, I'll put as MA. Mental activity and
purposeful action.
very good. Who answered? What's your name?
Jayesh,
Okay, Jayesh. Thank you, Jayesh. Okay, and 3 internal symptoms. 1,
Sat,
Sat. Okay, which means eternal. You give Sanskrit as well as English. The second,
Chit, which is knowledge,
Chit, knowledge. Good.
and
And third one,
Anand, happiness.
oh, very good. Ananda, which means happiness. Yeah, this is what we discussed till now. So now, like someone can say, Prabhu, you're just concluding it is the soul. I have not seen the soul. I feel this is a very conclusive decision to make. Rather, we study about something called as the happy chemicals. Anyone knows the happy chemicals? Yes?
Dopamine,
Sorry? Yeah, dopamine. You have the dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and one more. Yes. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and there's one more. I'm just thinking if it starts from A, then it'll be very
Adrenaline.
adrenaline only. Okay, so dosa,
I don't know.
but dosa. Happy chemical. Dosa makes you happy. So dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and adrenaline. So the modern day scientists, they say that it is because of the release of the chemicals, there's something called as happiness. Happiness is nothing, or let's put it as emotions are nothing but secretion of chemicals. Now, I want all of your answer to this. How many of you think that happiness is nothing but secretion of chemicals? Can you give a raise of hands? Happiness is nothing but secretion of chemicals. Anyone? Okay, 1, Only one. Others say no. Okay, how many of you say that happiness is not determined by secretion of chemicals? You can raise your hand. Girish is saying feel. Okay, feel. Okay, good. If you can raise your hand, it'll be a little more clear. If you raise your hand, if you say that happiness is not determined by release of chemicals, rather happiness results in secretion of chemicals. Two different things. You have chemicals and then happiness. Okay, Malhara's raised hand.
Hmm.
One says chemical leads to happiness. Other says happiness leads to secretion of chemicals. Which one you choose? Happiness results in. Yes. For example, say you go back to your home in India for your vacation after a long time in the US. When you go back home, you look at your mother, and she has, out of great love for you, she has made your favorite item. If you're from South India, she has made you idli vada sambar, the way you like it, extra spicy. Then you get tears in your eyes. Why is that? Did you inject some chemical in your body? Can you
Experience, like past life, like past memory.
past memory, experience, and therefore you experience happiness. Now you don't experience chemicals. That means experience led to secretion of chemicals.
Hmm.
Isn't it? Otherwise, it's so easy. You're feeling sad, just purchase these chemicals and keep in your home. As you feel sad, put one, what is it? Oxytocin, serotonin. As you feel you want some inspiration in your life, put your feeling of achievement, put dopamine. That's not how it works. What triggers the secretion of chemicals? And that is the emotion. Emotion secretes. Therefore, they say, no, don't be too stressed, because in stress, negative chemicals are secreted in the body. That makes the muscles tight. You feel very lot of weight in the head. You feel dull because your body reacts to the emotion. You able to understand? So emotion is resulting in secretion of chemicals, not the other way around. Now, in the relevant discussion, say there is a robot and a living being. Now, if you didn't know, Sophia, who is a robot, the first woman robot, was given the citizenship of Dubai. If you or me have to get citizenship of Dubai, it's very difficult. It's not easy. But this robot, Sophia, she got Dubai citizenship. Now, what is the difference between robot and a living being? Are we also like another type of robot? Or is robot as good as a living entity, a human being? Or is there a difference? And what is the difference? And I'd like all of you to take part in discussion. I find only select few, they answer all the questions. My request there's so many people who have joined. Please do take part in discussion. Don't feel shy. We're all here to learn together. So please tell me, what do you think is the difference between robot and a living entity?
Robots can't feel the emotions.
Robot can't feel emotions. Very good. They lack emotions. Isn't it? Whereas we can become emotional. That means the question comes, if say your like we took the example, you go back to India, you meet your parents and they cook for you, that emotion, who is feeling that emotion? That is the question. Isn't it? When we say robot lack emotions, because there's no one to feel that emotion. In us, it's not that our body is becoming emotional. Not that my eyes is becoming happy, my mouth is becoming happy. No. Who is feeling happy? Can anyone say who is feeling happy? We say, I am feeling happy. Who is that I?
The soul.
The soul. Very good. Yeah. So I can ask, see, for example, whose watch is this? I'll say my watch. Whose head is this? My head. Whose nose? My nose. Whose ears? My ears. Whose hand? My hand. Whose body? My body. So who is my? That is the soul. And everything else is facility. That's all. I've got some comments on this thing. Yeah, we can feel anything by touch, but robots can't. Robots also can feel by touch. Such feeling they can do. They can get through sensors, but there is no one to feel it. But they can sense stimuli or environment, and they can give out a positive action. But there's no mental activity. There's some sort of processing. Is that understandable? For example, say you are going in a sunset. You are in Kanyakumari observing a sunset, and a camera is also observing sunset. When you look at sunset, you feel great. You feel very happy. You feel very calm. So someone is feeling these emotions. When a robot sees sunset, the robot captures the sunset. It says, for example, if input sensor input equal to certain color of red, then printf sunset is beautiful. That's all it can say. Printf. There's no one feeling that sunset is beautiful, but in our experience we feel that sunset is so beautiful. We feel touched. Am I making sense?
Yes,
Yes, Prabhu.
absolutely.
Yeah. So that is the difference. So therefore, the person who is feeling is not the body. It is not the external vehicle. It is rather the spirit soul who is feeling it. Okay, that is one. And now as we conclude our discussion, one important section, I'll just show it to you in PPT. I'll close this screen share. See, this one thing we can see here. See, what is the difference between... Oh, sorry. I have to play the... Okay, I think you have anyway seen the answers. See, body and soul difference. See, body is matter. Soul is what? Made up of? Yes. Okay. So if you're not able to understand this, that means I have to show you one other thing. Just a minute. Yeah. See, I'll draw you a diagram and you'll understand with this. See. He's one person. And to his personality, there are three selves. Okay. And then there is this only shows the layers. This is not some kind of diagram to help understanding. So now this outside one, sorry. Yeah. This is called as the gross body. Gross body means what you can see mine, I can see yours. That's called as the gross body. And this is made up of Panch Mahabhut. Anyone knows what Panch Mahabhut is? Yes, quickly, anyone?
Air, water, earth.
Yeah, air, water, earth, and
Yeah, and
what else? Okay, fire, good, and space. Very good.
Yes.
And then you see the inside, the gross body is outside covering. Just like a coconut, if you get a coconut, green coconut, it has a green shell. You break the green shell, you have a brown shell. That is like the subtle body. Here, there is a subtle body to our personality that is made up of three things. Sorry. Subtle body made up of three things. And that is mind, intelligence, and ego. And then finally, the spirit soul exists. Spiritual, and that is made up of Satchidananda. It's all spiritual. See, we don't see the mind, but we know that we have a mind, isn't it? So we'll come to that now. You are able to understand this is our three-layer personality. So in turn, truly we are the soul, and we get a very subtle layering called as subtle body, which is made up of mind, intelligence, and ego, and above which you have a gross body. This is the body, which is made up of blood, stool, everything. But broadly speaking, it's air, water, earth, fire, space. There are three layers of a personality. Now, that being said, I'll take you to the PPT back. Yeah. See, now you can see here. So can you give me the answer to this question? Body is made up of matter. Soul is made up of?
Spirit.
What's the nature of the soul? Session is going on. Yeah, spirit. Very good. Yeah, body is not conscious. What about the soul?
It's a conscious.
Yeah, it's conscious. Very good. And body changes. What does the soul change?
No.
No, soul doesn't change. Body is temporary. What about the soul?
Permanent.
Permanent.
Eternal. Yeah, permanent. And body is dead. Soul is?
Alive.
Yeah, very good. See, this is us in the morning. And I was thinking, just see how handsome I'm looking. Look at my brown eyes. Look at my shapely nose and my beautiful eyebrows and my curly hair. That's all illusion. The soul sitting in the region of the heart is falsely considering this body to be himself. And that misidentification is called as false ego, which will come to that. He's just the driver of the entire body. According to Shastra, it is said, Shastra says there are different channels for the pathway of air and everything in the body called as nadis. In one of the nadis, passing through the region of the heart, the soul is present, the Shastra says. See, material viewpoint. Can one of you read? Maybe Yuvraj, can you read?
So
Yeah. Read the
we
thing on
are
the screen.
body made up of matter.
Yeah, this is all material viewpoint. Good. Next.
We are no more than a chemical bundle.
Yeah. And then last.
Everything is finished at the time of death.
Yeah, this is a very materialistic point of view, and this is how the materialistic people function in this world. They say, YOLO, you only live once. Just enjoy as much as possible. Do whatever the damn thing you want to do, because everything is finished at the time of death. No. I'll show you what is spiritual viewpoint. Okay. Malhar, can you read?
We are not the material body of flesh and bones.
Good. Next.
We are spirit soul engaged in the material body. We do not die when material body stops to function.
This is a spiritual point of view. That means a person who can see spiritually, he understands not just I have a body, elephant also has a soul, deer also has a soul, cow also has a soul. Don't kill the cow. Isn't it? Animals, birds, plants, don't harm any living entity because they all have soul. They have just got different kind of bodies. Isn't it? So they have a deeper understanding to life. Very good. Thank you. Yeah. See, just as the bird is trapped in the cage, the soul is trapped in the body made up of 5 elements. So the soul is trapped in this body. Not knowing the real identity as soul, people spend all their life in polishing the cage, pampering the body, without feeding the soul. If you go to a shopping mall, you have food section where you get biscuits, chips, chocolates. Then you have furniture section where you have tables and chairs and whatnot. And then you have electronic section where you get TVs, mobile phones, and PlayStation, etc. Then you have clothes section, which for clothes for the body. Then what other section you have? Any other section? Stationery section, So you compare all these sections present in the mall, there's not one item for the soul. That means we are just like, you can see this old lady in the PPT. Old lady is polishing the cage. Only her problem is she forgot to feed the bird. Similarly, we are polishing the cage of this body. We're taking care of our external body. But what about the soul? Soul is the real living entity, and we have completely neglected the soul. So now I'll show you this one, the mechanism of mind, and we'll conclude with that. We'll continue later on next time. This is very important. It's very quick. So this is what we were seeing, right? So this is called as the gross body. Then inside the subtle body, it's made of mind, intelligence, ego. Just quick thing, what is mind? How do you understand what is a mind? Anyone knows what mind is? How many of you have a mind? I think we all do, right? We all.
Everybody.
Okay. Oh, Prabhu is speaking for everyone. Yeah, we all have a mind. What do you mean by a mind? What is your understanding? Anyone knows what mind is? Or do you just claim that you have a mind? Okay, I will tell you what mind is. So mind is present in the subtle body, and it is a subtle sense. Subtle sense. Krishna says, just as this gross body is made up of fire, air, ether, and these 5 elements, mind is also ingredient to make up the subtle body, but it's very subtle. You cannot see it or touch. You cannot catch the mind and put in your pocket. It's a very subtle thing. Just like frequencies, signals. You cannot touch a signal, but you can verify that signal exists. Similarly, mind cannot be touched. It's not tangible, but it is subtly present. So how do you understand what a mind is? You can compare it with a computer system. Mind is compared with the storage hard disk. That means mind is a storage unit where you put your desires are stored, your past experiences are stored, your thoughts are stored, these are the things stored. The thoughts, desires, and experiences are all stored in the mind. So what happens when you put in input? Say you look at a gulab jamun, immediately the mind starts thinking, oh wow, gulab jamun, I had it in my childhood. Now I want to eat 20 of them. Though they're only serving 2 per person, I'll somehow take 20. He's thinking. Why? Because he understands from in the past, I used to like gulab jamun very much. Isn't it? Because it brings back the memories. So memory means mind. And mind is like a naughty child. Mind always says, I want that. Sometimes mind is very fickle. Fickle means it keeps going from one thing to another. When you want to sit and study, mind says go do laundry. When you go for doing laundry, mind says go and play with your friends. When you try to go play with your friends, the mind says go and sleep. You didn't catch up enough sleep at night. When you want to sleep, mind says, hey, why are you sleeping? There's so many things to do. Isn't it? Therefore, it's compared to a naughty child, the mind. So this is the mind where everything gets stored, and our desires, thoughts, and experiences are not stored just from this life. From past lives, many, many lives, it is being stored in the mind. Accordingly, desires are created. One may think, where am I getting this nasty desire in my mind? We should understand this coming from past life. So therefore, we have to be very careful. What do you feed into your mind? And what is intelligence? If we compare mind with a small child, intelligence is like the parent. Intelligence disciplines the mind. That means mind says, let's go for a movie. Intelligence says, hey, Your assignment is there. First, you do your assignment. And there's a tug of war we always face between mind and intelligence. Who wins? Whoever is stronger. If the mind is stronger than the intelligence, mind says, shut up, let's go for a movie. Everyone goes for a movie. If intelligence is stronger, it tells the mind to shut up and says, do your assignment. First, be dutiful. Isn't it? That's the intelligence. So with respect to computer system, intelligence is compared to CPU, where CPU has to determine which process requires how many resources. A discriminatory unit. That means intelligence says what is good from what is bad. People with poor intelligence, they don't understand what is good, what is bad. Like a small child, the small child, you put him on the road, he starts making friends with strangers also sometimes. No intelligence. We have to be careful with strangers because they might be dangerous. But a man with intelligence, he knows I have to be careful here, how to deal with others. I should not just speak whatever I want. I have to be sensitive. Otherwise, I'll get fired. This is all intelligence. Intelligence means discriminatory unit to distinguish right and wrong. And what is false ego? False ego means ahankara. Ahamkar means misidentification. Therefore, false. False means miss. Ego is identification. I can say, someone says, who are you? I'll say, I'm the best engineer. I've studied in the best college. This is all false identification. Not just that, I can say I'm an Indian. It's false identity. Can anyone explain why is be calling oneself Indian false identity? One can say, what is this guy talking? Mera Bharat Mahan. But it's actually a false identity. Anyone? Say, for example, this life we are born in India. We are saying, I'm Indian. Bharat Mata ki jai. Next life you're born in America. What will you say? America Mata ki jai. Will you say? Yeah? You will say, yes. Glories to America. Who cares for India? We are a first world country. India is just developing. Isn't it? Now India and Pakistan are fighting. Indians are saying, hell with you. We are best. Then the same person who's saying hell with you, is born in Pakistan. Then what happens? He is now waving Pakistan flag and says, hell with you guys. Same person. Just because he was born in that place. And therefore it's called as false ego. That means wrong identification or temporary identification, which is subjected to change. So I can say I'm a boy. It's also false identity. Why? Because next life you can be born in a body which is girl's body. Male's body in this life, next life, female's body. Well, when you say I'm a girl, but next life you can be born in a male's body. Isn't it? So therefore all material entities are called as false ego. I'm an engineer, but then say if a person initially studies mechanical engineering, but market is down, then immediately he switches to AI. Initially he was saying I'm a mechanical engineer. Now he says I'm data scientist. Something like that. Why? Because you're changing identity according to what is profitable. So therefore it's called as false ego. Misidentification. And that misidentification is what? For example, once there was a person, he had bought his new car, Chevrolet. It's like a SUV, very costly car, all black windows, black car, very posh looking. But this was in India. And he parked in the street and he told the boys playing there, be careful, make sure you don't, they were playing cricket. He said, make sure the ball doesn't hit the glass. So coolly he went up to his apartment. At every landing, he would see from the window. He would see if, they're damaging the car. And as he reached his floor, about 5th floor, and went inside the apartment, immediately he heard the window breaking. He looked down the window. He saw the glass breaking. He looked down the window and saw. He looked as if the glass of his car had broken. Immediately he ran. Almost he jumped from there, 5th floor. He ran from the staircase, came all the way to ground floor, went outside, went to the place where he parked the car, and he saw actually the glass had not broken. So he felt a big sigh of relief. Then he saw what was broken. Then he saw there was another car looking like his car, whose windows were broken by the ball. But now he didn't care. Isn't it? Now, can anyone tell me why did he find a sigh of relief when he saw that it was not his car? But the car window got broke. Anyone?
It doesn't belong to him.
It doesn't belong to him. So, but the car windows, any car windows are precious, no? Not only my car windows are expensive, their car windows are also expensive.
Because it doesn't cost that person to fix it, right? Another.
Oh, it doesn't cost. One can say it will be covered by insurance.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's a good point.
Yeah. Okay, Girish is saying he's thinking of himself. Okay. And Shamika is closer to the answer. Attachment to the car. Good.
Right.
Actually, the attachment leads to identifying with the car. He doesn't say that this is a car. He said this is my car. I'm the owner. For example, now did the boys who were playing cricket, did they take the cork ball and hit the person? No. He was up in his apartment. But imagining that the windows of his car broke, he felt pain. You able to understand? No one had to catch him and beat him for him to feel pain. That means, say you have a car, I'll take a key and pull a strike on the bonnet. You will feel as if someone is striking your heart. Why? Because you identify that this is my car, attachment. And that is called as false ego. So I say this is my body, my parents, my relatives, my country. Someone says, hey, your country is dirty. Then you will say, hey, you are dirty. How can you call my country dirty? Why? Because the identity. They say, no, Jai Maharashtra, they say. Or people in Tamil Nadu say, Jai Tamil Nadu. The poet in Tamil Nadu, he says that when I hear the language of Tamil flowing in my ears, it is as if nectar is flowing in my ears. Similarly, a poet in Maharashtra has sung. He says that whenever I hear Marathi language, it is as if nectar is flowing in my ears. But he will not feel the nectar when he hears Tamil, nor will Tamilian feel nectar when he hears Marathi. Why? Identity. I am a Tamilian. I am a South Indian. I am a North Indian. This is all called as false ego. What do we identify with? Misidentification is called as false ego. And soul we discussed, eternity, knowledge and bliss. See, this is quick. We discussed all this. Intelligent decision maker. Mind is the storehouse of thoughts, desires and experiences. And mind through karmendriyas. These are 5 senses. These are karmendriyas. They feed to the mind. So be careful. What do you feed to your mind? Mind is not wrong. Mind is not bad. It depends on us. How do we use the mind? See, in this chariot of the body analogy, these horses are the 5 senses. And the reins that holds the horses, the ropes, that's called as the mind, which holds the ropes that connect to the horses. And the charioteer is the intelligence. And the passenger is the soul. So this is the body. So be careful. Don't let your senses loose. Senses in the mind. Then the intelligence, finding very difficult to control. And the passenger is like a ghost. Krishna is telling Arjuna, Bandhur atma atmanastasya yen atma eva atmanajitah anatmanastu shatrutve vartitatma eva shatruvat. Arjuna, your controlled mind is your best friend, whereas an uncontrolled mind is your worst enemy. Yeah. Can the mind be controlled? See, is knife good or bad? Yes?
If used in a good way, it's good. It's good. But if it's used to kill someone or hurt someone, it's bad.
Yeah, that means knife is neither good nor bad. Depends on the user. Isn't it? That means, see, surgeon uses a knife for surgery, can save life. Whereas a robber can use it to kill someone and loot them. So therefore, similarly, it depends on us. How do we train the mind? And therefore, we have the principle called as gigo. You feed in garbage, what comes out of our mind, our karmendriyas is all garbage. Because you're feeding garbage into your mind. What comes out is garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. Gigo. Similarly, you put good in, what comes out is good out. That means you keep, where do you get your scripts? If you always watch movies that contain filthy language, obscene scenes, adultery, and these things, then always when we look at the world around us, we only see such things. And when we speak, only filthy language comes out. Why? Because we have only fed filth into our mind. But you feed good things. Hear from Ramayana, Mahabharata, scriptures, noble character of Yudhishthir, like these good things about Krishna. Then what comes out is wonderful language. How do we deal with the world? We deal in a very nice way. So therefore, be careful what books we read, what movies we watch, what music we hear, who are our friends. So this is a dialogue. See, smoking habit. Mind says, see, I'm an engineer. I should know at least how to hold a cigarette. Smoking makes me feel cool, they say. Whereas intelligence says, hey, but it's a bad habit, not good for you. Your parents won't like to see you doing this. You may become addicted to it. Don't get into wrong track. So like this, a battle happens between mind and intelligence, and you choose. If mind is stronger, you go with the mind. If intelligence is stronger, you go with the intelligence. So I think this is sufficient for today. We have covered quite a bit, and we are way over time. So we have just a small quiz, and I will just upload it in just less than 10 minutes. What is this? I need Google Sheet form. Okay, just a minute. Let me just share the screen with you. Yeah, I just need 1 point answers. Just tuck. I am not looking for like paragraph of understanding. Just your understanding quick on this thing you can give. And this is required for your certificate because we'll be graded. But good thing is not very difficult. See, okay, what I have to do is actually share the link with you. And the link will close in 10 minutes. So, yeah, you can see the link. Google link is there in the chat. Now it's 2:10, 2:20 it will close. So you can quickly fill it. All of you able to access the sheet, Google form? Stop. Can you maybe stop the recording in the